Have you ever opened your mouth to speak English and suddenly your mind goes blank, even though you know the words? Or maybe the words are there, but they feel trapped behind a wall. And you can almost hear yourself thinking too much. Check in every sentence before you say it, like your brain is holding your English hostage. And the most frustrating part is this: you understand English. You can watch videos, read articles, follow meetings, maybe even joke in English in your head. But when it is your turn to speak, something tightens inside you. Your chest gets a little heavier. Your voice gets smaller. You become careful. You become slow. You become silent. If that feels familiar, I want you to know something important right away. This is not because you are bad at English. This is because your brain is trying to protect you. And the way it is protecting you is exactly what is blocking you. Let me say that again in a simple way. Your brain is not your enemy. Your brain is doing its job. The problem is that it is using the wrong strategy for speaking a language. Your brain loves safety. It loves certainty. It loves being correct. And speaking a second language is messy. It is uncertain. It is full of small mistakes and awkward moments. So your brain creates a system. It says, wait, check, translate, make sure, do not embarrass us. And that system feels helpful, but it creates a traffic jam. Your thoughts are trying to move forward, but perfectionism and fear are standing in a road with a stop sign. Think about a simple moment. Someone at work asks you a friendly question. How was your weekend? It is an easy question. In your native language, you could answer in 2 seconds. But in English, you suddenly start building the perfect answer in your head. Weekend, past tense. Should I say, I went or I have been? Should I mention the restaurant? Is restaurant pronounced correctly? Is it worth speaking if I cannot say it perfectly? And while your brain is doing that, the other person is waiting. And you can feel the silence growing. So you give a short answer. Fine, good, nothing special. And later, maybe in the shower or on the bus, your brain finally relaxes and you think, oh, I could have said so many things. I could have said, I went hiking. I could have said, I watched a movie. I could have said, I met friends. The English was there. But your brain blocked the door when it mattered. This happens for a few reasons. And when you understand them, you stop blaming yourself. The first reason is fear. And fear is not always dramatic. Sometimes fear is quiet. Fear is just your brain imagining a small social danger. What if I sound stupid? What if they judge me? What if they laugh? What if they think I am not professional? What if they do not understand me and I have to repeat myself? Your brain treats these possibilities like real threats. And when the brain feels threatened, it does not want to take creative risks. It wants to survive. So it shifts into a careful mode. You become less spontaneous. You try to control everything. And fluency needs the opposite. Fluency needs movement. It needs flow. It needs the courage to be slightly imperfect. The second reason is overthinking. Many adult learners are strong thinkers. You have a logical brain. You have experience. You are used to being competent. And that is wonderful. But it can become a trap in language learning. Because speaking is not a math problem. You cannot solve it before you speak. Speaking happens in real time. It is like walking. Imagine if you tried to walk by thinking about every muscle in your leg. Lift foot, move knee, place heel, adjust balance. You would freeze. And speaking English is similar. If you try to control every grammar choice, every word, every pronunciation detail, your brain slows down so much that you lose the natural rhythm. Then you feel frustrated, and that frustration becomes proof in your mind that you are not fluent, which creates more pressure the next time. This is how a speaking block becomes a habit. The third reason is translation. Translation feels safe because it gives you a plan. You start with a sentence in your native language, and then you try to convert it into English. But translation is slow. And more importantly, translation makes English feel like a test, like you are always checking if it matches the original. But real communication is not translation. Real communication is intention. It is meaning. It is, what do I want to say right now, in the simplest way, with the words I have? When you translate, you often try to say the exact same sentence you would say in your own language, and that sentence might be too complex, so you get stuck. You feel you need perfect vocabulary, perfect structure. And again, you freeze. Now here is the shift that changes everything. Speaking English is not about producing perfect English. Speaking English is about keeping the message moving, keeping the connection alive. When you focus on connection instead of perfection, your brain relaxes. It stops treating English like a performance and starts treating it like a normal human activity. Let me give you a real-life picture. Imagine you are traveling. You are in a cafe. You want to order something, but you are not sure how to say one word. Many people stop completely at that moment. They think, if I cannot say it perfectly, I cannot speak. But a fluent speaker does something different. They keep moving. They use simpler words. They describe, they point, they rephrase. They say, I want the chicken sandwich, but no spicy, please. Or can I have this one? And can you remove the sauce? Or even, sorry, I do not know the word, but I mean the hot sauce. They communicate. And the truth is, the staff understands them. The moment is fine. Life continues. This is what your brain needs to learn. You do not need the perfect word. You need momentum. And the most powerful way to rebuild that momentum is to change what you think your job is when you speak. Your job is not to impress. Your job is not to sound like a native speaker. Your job is not to prove your intelligence. Your job is to be understandable and present. That is it. Understandable and present. If you can do that, you are already successful. Now let us talk about your inner voice, because it matters more than you think. Many English learners have a harsh voice inside their head when they speak. It says, that was wrong. You sound weird. They are judging you. You should have used a different tense. Why did you say it like that? This inner voice feels like it is helping you improve, but usually it is only making you anxious. And anxiety steals your words. Anxiety makes your mouth dry. Anxiety makes you speak too quietly or too fast. Anxiety makes you avoid speaking situations. So if you want to speak more fluently, you need a kinder voice inside your head. Not fake positivity, just realism. The realistic voice says, that was not perfect, but they understood me. That sentence was simple, but it worked. I am practicing. I am allowed to be in progress. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine a child learning to speak. They make mistakes all the time. They say strange sentences. They use the wrong word. They repeat themselves. And nobody says, wow, you are embarrassing. Just stop talking until you're perfect. No, everyone smiles. Everyone helps. Everyone understands the message. Adults deserve that same kindness. but we often do not give it to ourselves. We act like we must be perfect immediately because we are adults. But language does not care if you are an adult. Language is still learned through use, through repetition, through messy attempts. Another reason your brain blocks your English is identity. This is deep, but very real. In your native language, you are yourself. You are funny, intelligent, quick, maybe even charming. In English, you might feel smaller, slower, less interesting. And that can be painful. It can feel like you are losing part of your personality. So your brain protects your identity by avoiding situations where you might feel weaker. But here's the good news. Your English personality grows with time. You do not lose yourself. You rebuild yourself in English. The humor comes back. The confidence comes back. The style comes back. But only if you keep showing up. Only if you keep speaking while you are still becoming that version of yourself. So how do you fix it in a practical way, in daily life? You start teaching your brain that speaking is safe. Not perfect. Safe. And the best way to do that is with small wins. Small, repeated moments where you speak and nothing bad happens. You ask a simple question in a meeting. You make a short comment. You order something. You talk to a colleague for 30 seconds. You do not wait for the perfect moment. You take the moment that exists. After enough of these, your brain stops sounding the alarm. It learns, oh, we can do this. We do not die. People do not attack us. We survive. And when the brain feels safe, your English comes out more naturally. Also, you train yourself to think in English in tiny pieces, not by forcing big, complicated thoughts. You start with the simplest, most everyday inner narration. While you are making coffee, you think, I need more milk. I am running late. Where are my keys? This is too hot. While you are walking, you think, the weather is nice today. I should call my friend. That dog is cute. Simple thoughts. The point is not to sound advanced. The point is to stop translating. Because when you build the habit of small English thoughts, speaking becomes less like jumping across a river and more like stepping onto a path you are already walking on. And when you do speak, try something that feels almost too simple, but it works. Speak in shorter sentences on purpose. Many learners try to speak in long, complex sentences to sound smart or professional. But long sentences give your brain more chances to panic. Short sentences give you control. They give you rhythm. They give you confidence. You can always add more after. You can say, I agree. I think it is a good idea. But we need more time. That is clear, professional, and natural. Clarity is power. Simplicity is fluency. Here is another mindset shift. Mistakes are not evidence that you are failing. Mistakes are evidence that you are speaking. And if you are speaking, you are improving. The only way to truly fail is to stay silent forever. If you wait to speak until you feel ready, you may wait for years. Because ready is not a feeling that arrives first. Ready is something you build after you begin. Maybe you have had this experience. You meet someone who is not a native English speaker, and they speak with mistakes, but they speak with energy. They are relaxed, they laugh, they keep going. And you understand them. You do not judge them. You might even admire them. You think, wow, they are brave. They are communicating. That is exactly how many people see you when you speak English. They are not counting your grammar errors. They are listening to your meaning. And if they do not understand, most people will simply ask you to repeat or explain. That is normal. That is communication. So next time you feel that block, that moment where your brain says, "Stop, do not speak. I want you to do one small thing." Breathe out slowly and choose the simplest version of your idea. Not the perfect version, the simplest version. Say it. Let it be a little imperfect. Let it be human. Then keep going. If you need to correct yourself calmly. If you need to rephrase, rephrase. This is not a courtroom. It is not an exam. It is a conversation. And over time, something really beautiful happens. Your brain stops blocking your English because it stops seeing English as danger. It starts seeing English as normal. Just another way to be you. And your sentences start coming faster. Not because you learned some magic secret, but because you stopped fighting yourself. You stopped trying to be perfect. You started allowing yourself to be fluent in the real way, the human way, the messy way that eventually becomes smooth. If you take one message from this, let it be this. Your English is not locked because you do not know enough. Your English is locked because you are trying to stay safe. So make speaking safe. Make mistakes normal. Make simple sentences acceptable. Make progress your goal, not perfection. Your brain will follow your lead, slowly, patiently, and then one day you will notice it. You will answer without translating. You will tell a story without planning every sentence. You will laugh in English without thinking about it. And you will realize your brain is not blocking your English anymore. It is finally letting it flow